All right, let's now shift our attention to the other big story that we are tracking on WION, where it's been well over 40 hours since the serial blasts hit Sri Lanka. The attacks in churches and hotels, remember, have claimed well over 290 lives and have left more than 500 people wounded. Now, in terms of just the sheer number of casualties, this, in fact, is the worst terror attack since the 9/11 attacks in the United States back in 2001. Now, there is a state of national emergency that has now come into effect. The national emergency came into effect from midnight local time in Sri Lanka. The country's military and the police have been given extensive powers to make arrests and interrogate suspects without any court orders. No one, interestingly, so far has claimed responsibility for the bombings, and the government believes that a local Islamist group, a small, so far not very prominent Islamist group called Tawheed Jamaat, is the one that is behind the attacks, at least locally, although the Sri Lankan government has also said that the trigger may have been pulled by the local groups. The planning and the logistics may have, in fact, been done by some international help. Now, what we know so far is that the blasts were carried out by suicide bombers. At least 7 out of the 8 blasts are said to have been done by suicide bombers.
We don't see that only a small organization in this country can do all that. There is all, we are now investigating about the international support for them. And there are other links where they can produce, how they produce the suicide bombers here. International intelligence agencies have informed on the 4th of April that there is such an incident will take place in this country. There will be suicide bombers will attack the various places. So and in those detailed reports, they have said that the targets are the Christian and Catholic churches and also the tourist destinations, hotels.
The reports say that the security agencies had in fact been watching the National Tawheed Jamaat very closely. The police was reportedly even notified about the attacks. But the Lankan cabinet claims, however, that it had no clue whatsoever. The world has also come together to condemn the attacks and expressed its solidarity with the people of Sri Lanka. Speaking at an Easter event, US President Donald Trump described the attacks as a terrible, terrible thing.
Mr. President, your reaction to the Easter massacre in Sri Lanka,
Terrible, terrible thing. I think it's practiced for a long time. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. It was a terrible thing. I just spoke with the Prime Minister. I spoke with the various government officials that we are working with Sri Lanka. But that's a terrible thing.
Are you worried that you're...
And also the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has expressed his condolences to the families of the victims. In a statement read out by his spokesperson, Guterres has expressed support and the solidarity of the United Nations with Sri Lanka.
He recalled the sanctity of all places of worship, adding that he hoped that the perpetrators will be swiftly brought to justice. The Secretary General expressed his deep condolences to the families of the victims, the people and government of Sri Lanka, and wishes a speedy recovery to those injured. The Secretary General reiterated the support and solidarity of the UN with the people and government of Sri Lanka in this difficult moment for their country.